movie nerds, dorks, and weirdos. Welcome to my podcast, New Movie Tuesdays. I'm your host, Matthew Salanoa, and I have had the pleasure of watching K-Pop Demon Hunters. Now, I'll admit, I was a bit overhyped for this movie. The hype for this movie was so intense. I was at a friend's wedding a few weeks ago. Another friend told me, "You gotta watch this movie." Actually, I thought it was a show when she recommended it. And then the next thing you know, a week later, uh, someone else I watch on YouTube, very popular podcaster and filmmaker, really sold this movie. And then I'm watching Kind of Funny last week, and they are just flipping out about this movie. So I was a bit overhyped, okay? I was a bit overhyped, but I can say, without spoiling anything, I really enjoyed it. For any of you out there who, like me, have no clue what the heck is K-Pop Demon Hunters, and also, please forgive me for the sound quality and the lighting. I'm having a little bit of an issue with my microphone and light right now. I'm gonna get that figured out soon. Future episodes will have the mic back and everything. But until then, please bear with me. So, K-Pop Demon Hunters, for those of you who do not know what this is, it's available on Netflix. It's about literally what the title says. There's a K-pop band called Huntrix who goes around Korea singing very popular songs, and they both use their music and amazing fighting skills to fight demons around Korea. So it's a very fun movie. They end up competing with a demon based boy band, K-pop band, and it's a bit of a popularity contest, you could say, mixed with amazing visual action. I do think it is an enormously fun time. I would put the level of fun on par with Into the Spider-Verse or Across. It's like a very basic story. It's not the heaviest, most deep story of them all, but the level of fun that we get out of this is on par style wise with Across the Spider-Verse. So if you're a fan of the Spider-Verse animated movies from Sony, K-Pop Demon Hunters was made by Sony but sold to Netflix. Supposedly Sony did not believe in this movie, and I'll get into that a little bit later, just to my feelings why I don't really have any info on it. But of course, I got a gut reaction to that. But yeah, so I just spoiler free. Is it a good time? I don't watch, I don't listen to K-pop, so will I enjoy it? I think if you're anywhere near being a fan of like Disney musicals, if you're any bit of a fan of the Spider-Verse movies, regardless if you're like an MCU fan, if you like those two things, Disney musicals and the Spider-Verse movies, I think you're going to get a kick out of this. It's definitely an entertaining movie. The songs are really good. I personally really liked the final song that the band performs, the K-pop, the main girls, Huntrix. I think that song, most of the music does what it's supposed to do across the movie. It's catchy and it tells part of the story. That's what musicals are supposed to do. And again, I'll get more into that in the spoilers, but spoiler free. I think hey, really fun action, really catchy tunes. Again, and you got the K-pop girls versus the demon boy band, and while the K-pop girls are a bit more like regal and kind of, I wouldn't say like covered up. They're not using their sex appeal so much. The demon boy band is. They literally got a guy named Abby, who, guess what, has abs. And I forget the rest of their names, but there's another one called Baby Saja. They're the Saja boys, and Baby Saja, of course, it has the cute haircut, and I think he has a pacifier sometimes. I'm not sure, but either way, that rivalry is fun to watch. The action's very cool. It's very visually beautiful to look at, and yeah, I don't personally see why anyone who in the higher ups would think this movie wouldn't do well to some degree. But again, we'll get into that and my interpretation of that later. But for now, spoiler free. I thought K-pop Demon Hunters was a good time. Before I get into the spoilers, which I'm not going to talk too much about, I don't think there's that much to talk about with this movie, but I will get into what I liked. If you have seen K-pop Demon Hunters and you're just looking for, hey, you guy who says you were not hyped for this movie and did not think of blah, 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 what do you have to say? Spoilers. I'm talking about my favorite moments, my reaction. I don't think it's that great of a movie, but I do think it deserves the entertaining reaction people have given it. So that being said, let's do spoilers. Let the popcorn pop, baby. All right. Welcome to spoilers. So, seriously, check out the movie first if you haven't. But if you have, whatever. If you don't want to, whatever. Okay. So here's my spoiler thoughts. First off, I love the cat. There's this demon cat in the movie that is clumsy, and I love it. It's me. It's my spirit animal. I know my spirit animal's a demon. What can I do? And I love that the cat has this bird on it that has a hat, and the bird has three eyes. I'm like, I don't know what this symbolizes in Korean culture. There is a podcast I'm interested in checking out. I saw this on my feed just before doing this of a Korean teacher who's going to explain it. So I'll probably check that out. And I have checked out a couple interviews just to prepare for this podcast. I didn't glean that much. I didn't watch them all the way through, but on my homepage at the bottom is going to be Why It's Great Radio, where I put interviews. Literally, as soon as I've done my homework for a podcast, I post these things so you can kind of, if you are interested in seeing what the filmmaker said who made the movie I'm talking about, you can just go straight there and circumvent me, because that's what I want. I just want young filmmakers, if you catch my podcast, I want you to be able to have a direct resource to hearing what the filmmakers have to say and not just what some guy thinks. So anyway, but some guy. Yeah, I liked the cat, the clumsy cat, who is the messenger of the main Saja boy, who is the demon from 400 years ago and all that stuff. I love the reveal that the main singer has the mark of the demon on her, that her father is demon and her mother was another demon hunter. I really loved the final song. I thought all the music reminded me a little bit of Saya. Maybe that's just because it's pop music. I don't know. But in particular, I thought the last song felt like a Saya song, and it did just kind of hit me emotionally. It just pinged a part of me that's like, yeah, I'm kind of in that funky place where I'm not feeling so perfect. I have my own shames and guilts and past, and even things, if it's doesn't for me, it doesn't matter if it was 5 minutes ago, 5 years ago, or 10 years ago. If a thought crosses my mind or a memory crosses my mind of something I did that was shitty, or just not even it's not even that big of a deal. Well, I knocked over a vase. It doesn't matter. It feels to me like it happened yesterday, and it's just, that's how my mind is. It's a completely non-linear mind that's always trapped in these things. And what I'll say is, like, story wise, I do love that we have these goofy, emotionally almost bipolar girls who are these main girls, but they're all very sweet and well-meaning. But they have the distinct personalities. There's the leader who never stops working, and there's the serious one who wants perfection, and then there's the intense, goofy one who's cute and can rap. And I like the personalities and a lot of that. And I love the facial expressions they make. It's very outright anime. It's not trying to be a serious movie. It is genuinely enjoying the format, enjoying the medium the anime offers, which is, I just watched Sailor Moon, the first episode of that, the original Japanese version, and the expressions that Sailor Moon will make, and the face becomes like like a weird oblong shape, and the eyes become giant and sullen, and they do all that super expressive stuff in this movie. So it was nice to see that. And there was even this kind of subtle staccato ness to the animation at times that made it kind of feel like stop motion. Even the quality of what they would look like when they became super expressive looked very stop motiony. I liked that. But on the flip side, my criticism is that as much as it was very entertaining, and I really liked the last song. I thought the last song had all the heart in it. I do feel like the story sets up the premise of maybe not all demons are bad. Maybe there are some good demons, like the cat demon. The cat demon isn't sucking anybody's soul away. And it's clear that most demons are really just working for one bad demon. And I felt like the story had this potential of being Shrek like. Shrek was a great movie, also about a demon. I mean, Shrek's an ogre. Which is basically just a giant. A demon is just a monster. So Shrek is about an ogre who is not accepted by society. Because he's not accepted by society, he rejects society right back. And it takes a donkey and a princess to accept him for who he is, for him to accept himself. And I think that's a beautiful, nuanced story that's really well told from beginning to end, that is both about self acceptance and also about society kind of getting over itself in order to accept its own weirdos, and then you see society is kind of fickle. As much as everyone hates Shrek, when he gets in the ring in order to fight, he doesn't know that's what he's doing, but when he gets into the Farquaad's ring and fights all of his guys, he doesn't know he's competing to be the person who goes and rescues the princess. But you see how society turns on a dime as soon as they see what a winner Shrek is. They are all cheering for him. So society is not what it seems to be. It's a very fickle thing, and that's what Shrek. All of that is in Shrek, and I felt like there was a real opportunity in this movie to get into that, but it's not really about that. It's really just about the main character's self acceptance, and we get a little bit into the other Huntrix girls about their insecurities, but we don't get too deep. It's a very fun, easy to watch movie, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging it for that. It's just it was hyped up so much. I thought it was going to have some kind of insanely deep story. It's actually not that deep, and that's okay. And that's totally fine. But just for me, because of the hype, I was expecting Shrek. I was thinking this better be as good as Shrek. It's not as good as Shrek. It's nowhere near as good as Shrek, but it's in the ballpark of Shrekiness, just in the sense that it is about a person accepting herself. And I like the theme of the movie that demons really represent our guilts and our shames, and either things that were out of our control that we try to hide, like her having the mark. She can't help that she's part demon and comes with demon powers, versus things that were in our control, which the lead Saja boy represents. I forget the character's name, but he's the one who's been around for 400 years. When he was human, he was given the gift of fame and music in order to live a better life, but he left his family behind in order to get it, and left them destitute. So that enormous shame and guilt of something that is ultimately lifelong, something that follows you for a long time, because you don't want other people to learn about it, but also you yourself just can't talk about it. And that's the basis on which our hero and villain really get to know each other, befriend each other. There's a little bit of a love story there, but it's two conversations, and then it's just enough to make our lead Saja boy turn and protect the hero when she's fighting the main bad guy. I really was hoping that the main bad demon, who's in control of all the other demons, I was hoping that he would be her father, and there was a bit more to it than that. I thought that would be a very interesting twist. I was hoping that somewhere in there there'd be room for, okay, for the demons that aren't trying to kill people. You can run amongst us. We can let you hang out, because they obviously let the cat do it. The cat and the bird can do it. Because to me, that would fulfill the notion that our story is about what everybody needs, not just the main character. Because our heroes are trying to protect everybody by singing the great Hunmun that'll lock all the demons in hell and keep all the good people safe. I was really hoping for just a bit more depth in the storyline, but these things, as much as their criticisms, they didn't hold me back from enjoying the movie and getting where the character was coming from. Some movies are great stories, and some movies are great rides. And I take this back all the way to Jurassic Park 1 and 2. I think the first Jurassic Park is a great movie. It's a great story. It has a meaning. It has every character is on the same evolutionary journey that they need to grow up. You look at Alan Grant, he goes from hating kids and not wanting to be a father. By the end of the movie, when he looks at his girlfriend Ellie, you realize he has changed. He has changed. He's ready to be a father. That's what that movie's about on a story level for him. On the other hand, John Hammond, who has pushed the creation of the dinosaurs for profit and for the sheer will of creating something that's amazing, and even he has to realize that there must be limits on the things we do. So evolution's a huge theme. It's the reason the movie exists, and every character arc has to do with that. That's great storytelling. Shrek, I already talked about. That's great. It's a great movie. That's also a great time. And then there's the other side. There's the Lost World Jurassic Park, which I love as a great time because they just get right to the dino action. There's some human character setup, but who cares? We are just getting right to the dino action. It's thematically consistent with the first movie because now it's about sort of ecological or protecting the value of life versus corporate interests. It's much more of a save the rainforest kind of movie, but it's on the whole, it's really just a great ride. And you can watch that movie, and even if you're not nuts about the story, you can be along for like, wow, these dino sequences are still excellent to watch. They may not have that signature I've never seen this before of the first movie, but they're still visually incredible, and it's still stuff that the first movie didn't do. So that's where I would put this. This is more of a Shrek 2, a Jurassic Park 2, not Jurassic World, Jurassic Park 2. I put this in, this movie for me falls into the very good time. Definitely happy that I saw it, but was it worth the hype? I don't think it was as good as the hype suggests it was. It's not the greatest story on earth. It is a good story, not the greatest story, but it's a good story. It works. It's well told. But mostly what it is just this enormously fun ride. It's just something where you can just kick back and relax because you're going to have a good time. You know the good guys are going to win. And you're just going to be along for the ride. And I think just right now, that's what people are needing. And with all the terrible news that's going on, the news mega machine has so much to work from to make us all feel like the world's going to end, whether it is or isn't. And social media is pumping it out like nobody's business. I think people are just desperate for something to feel good about, and K-pop Demon Hunters is that sort of thing. It's the less nuanced Shrek. Not that we need Shrek to be the greatest movie on earth. It's nice, it's wonderful, but at least we can watch Shrek not concerned about the story and still just have a great ride. To me, that's what K-pop Hunters is. It's the Great Ride of Shrek without necessarily the depth. And anyone can disagree with me if you think it was a super great story and all that. It's totally fine. I'm not trying to rain on the parade of the movie. That's just my reaction to it. I do think, in terms of as far as musicals go, this movie does do what musicals should do. I'm not really a musical guy. I I think most of the time when I see a musical animated movie, the songs are kind of superfluous. They're kind of just there to be there. It's hard to like. I could not get into La La Land. It's really not my thing. But I'm all for like Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. You look at that movie, every single song tells the story. Part of that is because they actually didn't have the script before they started making the songs. They just had the story outline, and Danny Elfman had to write each song knowing where the story was going. So he had to implement the storytelling and what was going on with the character into the song because there was no script to go off of. So there's that. K-pop does the same thing. Our songs start off pumped up, the heroes feel great, and I like that. One thing that's a total positive and a good piece of storytelling. When it comes to K-pop Demon Hunters, we the takedown song is the point where not only are they struggling to write the song, they're singing it as they're struggling to write it. But I do like the main character starting to change the lyrics to something a little bit more compassionate. And it's the seeds of what will become the last song, what it sounds like. So, you see Takedown is this supposed to be this very fierce song about how we're just going to defeat the guys and defeat the demons. And it's no contest because we're good and you're evil. And that's where our main character is having her emotional conflict of like, well, no, it seems like this demon I met is not that bad of a person, and his pet cat is actually very friendly and sweet, and I don't want to kill that cat. So that's one of those really nice. That is where there's a touch of the nuance. I just expected it to grow from there, where it would be more about all the demons and their struggles, but it wasn't. It was more like Hercules or Shrek 2. The stuff, the nuances there. It's just not the focus of the movie. It's fine, but yeah. So like the each song really shows you where we're going, and I like that the Saja Boys, the Soda Pop, all their songs are really they're about our vices. The first song, "You're My Soda Pop," you're my delectable thing I like to eat. So we have the double entendre of the demon's going to eat you, but also this notion of sort of the objectifying you, the consumer, as much as you're objectifying the singer. Like again, Abby or the cute baby face one. And then when we get to their next big song, it's literally about giving into your vices and follow us to hell. So the song has so much to do with both the characters, the plot, the theme. It's got everything going on, and that's why I really love the final song. I do like the demon song specifically because of its relationship to the final song, which is like it's the reaction to, well, if you go follow the demon to hell, if you hide your mark because you're afraid of the world judging you, if you do something bad and never work to change it and just let it be something that hangs over your head, well, that's the pathway to hell. And so the final song, even from the lyrics, I thought were so beautiful because it's really about like, I should have never let my shame control me and walk me down this path. Because you see when the Saja Boys win over everybody, including the other Huntrix girls, that they're won over by their insecurities. The more serious one is like, I'm a perfectionist because all I see are the flaws in myself. And then the cute little one is like, am I too much because I'm just always saying whatever I feel? And it's their insecurities that drive them into the doom scroll and all that stuff. Very much, it's human nature. And look, this is why I make this podcast to talk about, it's not just the filmmaker's point of view, which I can tell you right now. As far as I got in the interviews, I just realized there's not much I can glean from this to tell you guys, because it's better if you just watch the interviews themselves. But I do like that the directors, they wanted to make something like this for a long time. Maggie Kang had these stories in her head of demon hunters and a K-pop band. Her husband suggested merging the two. She wanted to do something about Korean culture. And the other director, Chris Applehouse, is very passionate about music and how it works in a story. And the best that I could glean was just how their two, the things that mattered the most to them about what they like to do and what they like about storytelling, they combined together to make the movie that we're seeing. So on the filmmaker's side, it's like what you're passionate about, what you care about, that's what makes the movies that we enjoy the most. It is always a labor of love. That's why they say, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And I think what works about this movie on the Shrek side, it's that even these beautiful, adorable women who are at the top of their game and they have different backgrounds. It reminded me a lot of the first Charlie's Angels movie, actually, where they have the three women with three different backgrounds. One grew up very well to do. One grew up in the streets of LA. I like that bit. But even these three beautiful women at the top of their game who were handed this wonderful opportunity and rode it all the way to golden success, even they have these deep-rooted insecurities that drive them in their everyday activities. And sometimes it just takes confronting that demon, the shame, or just the thing that you don't want to deal with on the daily basis. Sometimes it takes confronting that in order to actually become a healthier, happier person. And even though the main character is initially rejected by her friends, part of that is because of the friends having their own insecurities. What is beautiful about the ending of this movie is that when our main character accepts herself and sings the voice of accepting herself, that's the inspiration that breaks free both her friends and everybody else, because that's the tool of the movie. Music can both break the influence of demons and lock them away. So when she gives herself permission to be great despite her flaws, because of her flaws and everything in between, that inspiration gives her friends the freedom to let go of their own insecurities that drove them to run away from her. So that's very powerful stuff, and that is the stuff of great storytelling that makes K-pop Demon Hunters worth talking about. So that's what I have to say about the movie. I think, again, I still don't think it's as deep as Shrek, but depth is there, nuance is there, and I do support this movie doing well. As for Sony not thinking it's going to do well, look, businesses are businesses, and that's half the problem. When George Lucas made Star Wars, nobody believed in him. Everything that fans have said about the prequels, everybody said to George Lucas's face about the original Star Wars. And that should make you think very heavily about what you think about the prequels. It makes me think that way. As soon as I heard that, it really made me go, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Because if everything everyone said about, and I don't like this marker, well, everyone else says it, so it must be true. It's like, no. Like, even in this video, I'm not here to say, hey, K-pop Demon Hunters is the best thing since sliced bread. No, that's what everybody else is saying. No, I say I have my own mind. I think what I think. I think there's good stuff in there. There's depth in there, but is it Shrek? No, it's not. But it doesn't need to be Shrek. That's it's also within my belief system that it does not need to be Shrek to be considered either good or great. Just that it strives for that greatness and it has good storytelling principles. That's what matters first. And like Star Wars, look at the success of K-pop Demon Hunters. The studios didn't believe that movie was going to do well. Nobody who made that movie thought it was going to do well. In the case of K-pop Demon Hunters, it was made with love. Sounds like everyone who was on board with it liked the idea and was down for it. But the studios didn't, right? So yeah, it just goes a long way to show you groupthink. And look, they think by numbers, they think by IP, they think by all these things that they think. For some reason, they think that their numbers matter. But sometimes all it takes is a brave, bold idea that no one else has tried before. That's what's going to make the money. That's what's going to get all the attention of everybody. It takes bravery, to do something that other people aren't doing. But just to believe in it because you believe in it. And that's the same thing that happened with Star Wars. It was word of mouth. That people were excited and they shared what they loved as soon as they saw it. But that's why this movie succeeds. I think we've had many months of this media saturation that the world is going to end, and people just needed something to tell them that no, it's not going to end. We're going to save the world together with a little bit of self help, a little self care, like facing our own demons. We're going to help everyone else face theirs. And that's a beautiful thing. So, hats off to K-pop Demon Hunters. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully, I'll see you next time. Mahalo and aloha, all you wonderful movie nerds, dorks, and weirdos.